Thank you, Eddie. What a fantastic example of cooperation. This is really an achievement. Thank you very much, and I think we need a applause for it. So, Johan, there are really two types of cops. There are those that say stop, but there are also the cops say go, you can travel. So these are the cops that said go. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to our last speaker. Anton Kruger. He's an environmentalist of another kind. He's an industrial mechanical engineer, qualified engineer. And he currently works as a commercial diver and a fisherman. He's a water sports enthusiast. He likes kite surfing, and he's an instructor of kite surfing here in Hermanus. So those of you who want to go kite surfing, here's the opportunity. He's been diving since an early age, he says, and intended to be interested in nature conservation all of his life. So Anton, you're the last speaker, and then we're going to have a wrap up after that.
Okay, good morning. The first part of my presentation is about the sewage, and it's a little bit wider than just the onerous estuary. You guys all probably received the news briefs we circulated, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But yeah, we identified quite a few concerning sewage matters in the Hoofstrand. So I'm just going to start with two examples of very recent sewage spills. And the first one was with the September floods. Now, most of you know that the Onrus Beach was closed for a month while the Bosblasie sewage system washed away, and sewage was spilling continuously into the Onrus River and ending up in the estuary and on the beach. And that the South African Bodyboarding Championships had to move quite urgently to Betty's Bay when they realized the sewage was spilling. The concerning matter is that the damage happened on the 25th, and the announcement was only made on the 2nd of October, meaning, and as Eni showed you the videos of, people were in the estuary dragging stuff out of there, so they were actually exposing themselves to the sewage at that stage. The other thing that a few people also know is that on the 25th, I was actually taking photos at the Onrus main pump station that's right on the edge of the Onrus estuary. And as you can see from that photo, I took a video. The Onrus main sewage pump station was overflowing into the estuary. And the Hoofstrand municipality has been assuring us that they've got a telemetric system and that they immediately know about sewage spilling into our estuary. So it's quite concerning that it was more than a week before any warning signs came up, and that a lot of people got exposed to the sewage, including the best bodyboarders in South Africa who were actually surfing a competition in those conditions at Onrus Beach. Okay. The second example happened quite recently. It was 3 days ago, and it was at the other estuary, at the Klein River estuary, and it's apparently load shedding that caused the Scout Camp pump station to spill sewage into the mouth of the Klein River estuary. And the Klein River estuary has recently become a world-famous kite surfing spot. We've got many pros and stuff come here to exercise. There's also a kite school that operates in the Klein River estuary. I'm also doing some teaching there, and I can assure you, when you learn to kite surf, you tend to get a lot of water up your nose, and you really don't want there to be sewage in there. So the person that informed me about the spill was actually quite upset, because he was swimming in the water there, and he was unaware of the spill, because the municipality put up the signs right in front of the pump station. But most people, when they access the estuary, they come from the main parking lot, and there's no warning signs was put up there. So yeah, it's not an ideal situation. And it's also, we should also take note that currently there's a lot of tidal movement in the estuary. So, but that sewage won't stay just right in front of the pump station. It moves around. Now it's quite interesting. I think Kate also quoted this. Our constitution has something to say about it. It's called the environmental right, and it says that everyone has a right to environment which is not harmful to their health or well-being. And these persistent sewage spills, of course, impact on our tourism, on our health, and on our environment. Solution is quite simple. But it's quite simple to, it's a simple solution, but it's not so simple to implement. Yeah, these problematic pump stations should be moved to safer or more appropriate locations. The many overflow pipes that are running into our oceans and our estuaries and our marine protected areas, that should be sealed off. And emergency storage facilities or capacities should be constructed where appropriate. But the challenge is once again bringing the Waterfront municipality to the table and finding funds to do the actual chain alterations. Okay, next I'm going to quickly discuss the water issues in the Greater Hermanus. Starting off with the Du Bois Dam. I got these figures from the DWS website, it's that weir that Mr. Roberts has been talking about that was recently damaged. And so I took the average inflow into the dam from 1976 till 1995. And as you can see, you get to about 21 million cubic meters of water. Now, if you consider the dam is about 6 million cubic meters of water, or has a capacity of about 6 million cubic meters, and the municipality takes 2.8, or they're allowed to take 2.8 million cubics. So that means the dam would have overflown. I mean, you've got an excess of 12 million cubic meters that would still have gone over the wall, which meant the river was, in those years, it would have been quite healthy. If you look at the more recent figures, the situation has actually changed considerably. So in from 1996 till 2022, the average inflow was only about 7 million cubic meters. So there's been a reduction of about 67% of the water entering the Du Bois Dam. Under these conditions, you'll see the dam would only overflow rarely. So the first thing that I checked was if climate change had anything to do with that. But as you can see, the average rainfall for the Greater Hermanus has remained pretty constant at about 635 millimeters per year. So that was not the reason. So you can see the average inflow into the dam reduced from about 21 million cubic meters to only about 7 million cubic meters. But if you look at the the 1973 water court order that allowed the municipality to build the De Bos Dam, you'll see that it also regulates the extraction from the dam quite strictly. And what I did is I calculated all the extractions, all the water rights upstream from the De Bos Dam. And there's certain things that are not, for instance, there's a few farmers that are allowed to extract unlimited amounts from certain tributaries to the Onrus River. But you can estimate it at about 2 million cubic meters that of agricultural extraction that's allowed upstream from the Bos Dam. So, and that's a high estimate. So the issue here is that about 11 million cubic meters of water seems to be missing from going into the dam. Now, I suggest we need to find out where that water is going, and just a bit of an action plan is if you look at let's call it the larger enterprises, you need to identify the enterprises that produce crops that use a lot of water, and then you do a bit of a balancing, because you can, if you know the amount or the mass of crops that they produce, you can estimate how much water is used to produce that crop, and then you can compare that with their water rights and see if there's any discrepancies. Okay, next we get to the municipal releases from the De Bos Dam. The municipality is currently claiming they only need to release 0.47 million cubes per year, and if you work this out as a percentage of the water that used to flow into the De Bos Dam, you get only about 2%. So you can imagine that you will get problems or ecological problems downstream from the dam. You cannot take away 98% of a river's water and expect it to survive. Now, it must also be noted that this release is called a normal flow release, and it still happened under the Old Water Act, and that it was meant for the agricultural sector. It's not meant for the environment. So currently there is no environmental release for the Onrus River at all. Now, the Oeverstrand municipality has indicated that they're not willing to increase the releases. They've actually suggested to us, or to me, that if I want them to change it, we need to take them to court. But that raises the question: is it possible for them to release more water? Is there actually enough water to supply both our town and the environment with a suitable amount of water? And of course, it puts a big question mark behind the current fast tracking of development in the Greater Hermanus. What will the consequences be for our environment? Will we ever be able to supply our town, our environment with enough water? It should also be noted that the municipality has often extracted more than their 2.8 million cubes from the De Bos Dam. Dylan also confirmed that in the last 2 years, I think I noted 3.4 million cubes for last year, while they're only allowed to do 2.8 million cubic meters. And load shedding probably has a lot to do with that. Then also on the releasing side of things, they've quite often not released even the 0.47 million cubes that they claim they need to release. Well, next we get to what can you do about it. Well, this type of meeting is actually, it's essential, and I'm sorry we're running out of time, because it's something that we all need to talk about. The municipality also needs to come to the table. It needs to be discussed. It needs to be, we need to decide how important is our environment. Are we just going to change it all in the city and write our river off? We've got all the officials here, so it's actually the perfect opportunity to start discussing this and all get together and work out the best way to deal with these issues. Another concerning thing is the future water supply for our town. So if you, I think Dylan also mentioned this, currently we got water from the Bos Dam and the boreholes. Now I've got these figures from the Municipal Water Services Development Plan from 2022, and you can see the Bos Dam water will cost them 89 cents per cubic meter. Borehole water costs R3.21 per cubic meter. But according to Mr. Miller from the Waterstrand Municipality, they're going to need to start desalinating by 2027 to supplement our water. But the cost of that is pretty expensive. So you're looking at R16.10 per cubic meter, plus a surcharge to Abigail, plus a R88 million investment in infrastructure. Now, if you compare that to the cost of the Bos Dam, you're looking at an increase of plus minus 2,000%. And that might well be reflected in our municipal accounts. The next thing to consider is load shedding. Both boreholes and desalination are highly dependent on large amounts of electricity. As Dylan already pointed out, for the past 2 years, the municipality was unable to get the allocation of water from the boreholes, and they were taking, and it is actually illegally, they were taking more water from the Bos Dam than they were allowed to. Now theoretically you can solve the problem by generating electricity with diesel generators. The problem is, if you generate electricity that way, it costs 4 to 5 times more than electricity from Eskom. So if you were to desalinate seawater by using electricity generated with a diesel generator, you're looking at an increase of about 10,000% compared to the Bos Dam. And there's of course a grid collapse to consider. We all hope it's not going to happen, but it is a reality. But during a state of a grid collapse, diesel will not only become very scarce, but also very expensive. And the possibility is there that we might just end up without water at all. So once again, it puts a lot of question marks behind fast-tracking development in the Greater Hermanus. And it's interesting to note that Stellenbosch was in a similar situation a few years ago, and they implemented a moratorium on further development. This has been suggested for Hermanus, but yeah, we actually didn't even get feedback on the matter. All right, thank you.